You ever look someone dead in the eye while they're standing in your living room in a fuchsia suit, heels digging into your sandstone floor, and they have the nerve to say, "Honey, this isn't a home, it's a liability, and we're here to correct it"? Yeah, that happened. I know sounds like a joke, right? Only the joke was on them. Picture this Pacific morning fuchsia suit, practically bleeding in the sunlight ocean, thrashing against the cliff base like it's got something to prove, and three cars parked smack where no car's ever supposed to be. I'm up in my little cave, yeah, they call it a cave, like I'm some kind of mountain hermit. Coffee in hand, not even shaking. And somewhere behind me in a fireproof safe, there's a stack of papers that could turn this whole circus on its head. But you want to know how we got here. Let me back up a sec. 3 days before the parade showed up at my door, it was just me, the ocean, and a silence so deep you could hear the gulls arguing over breakfast. My house is built right into the side of a 65-million-year-old sandstone cliff, windows cut to catch the sunrise salt on the air so strong it makes your teeth itch. Every morning I'd check the tide gauge down in the cove, installed it myself back when my wife was still alive and dreaming of a place where the only thing louder than her laugh was the sound of the waves. Never did get to see it finished. Cancer got her 3 months before I won the federal auction. But I like to think she'd have gotten a kick out of the setup, railroad sleeper countertops, instruments everywhere, whale-watching journals, geological survey maps covering half the wall. I'm Cormac Ashwell, by the way. Used to be a field geologist for the United States Geological Survey. Spent a career reading the Earth's vital signs. Now I read the oceans, too. I record the tides, the whale sightings, the erosion lines, old habits, you know. But this place, it's more than just rock and salt water. It was home. It was all I had left. 40 years ago, this cliff was government property, a Cold War listening post for Soviet subs, if you can believe it. When they decommissioned it, the place sat empty for years, just classified limbo until 2018, when a federal auction put it in the classifieds, hidden in plain sight. Most folks saw a liability cliff eroding generator for power 4 miles from the nearest road with no cell service, no mail, nothing but salt and sky. Me, I saw a chance to disappear to live out the dream my wife never got to finish. But dreams have a way of attracting trouble, don't they? Especially the HOA kind. First sign was the dust, 3 cars crawling down my washed-out road, which, let's be clear, hasn't seen uninvited guests in 3 years. White Mercedes G-Wagon, vanity plates, obviously silver pickup with compliance stickers, county inspector truck. Out steps this woman, fuchsia suit, silver blonde hair sprayed so stiff it doesn't move in the wind. Her smile, the kind you see at funerals right before they serve you with an eviction notice. She introduces herself, Deline Vance Hartley, president of Crimson Ridge Estates HOA. That's right, an HOA 4 miles east, convinced they have some say over my property. Her crew fans out, one with a clipboard snapping photos like I'm the crime scene, her brother-in-law, the county inspector, of course, pretending to look worried at the cliff. They list my offenses: unauthorized structure in the coastal viewshed, endangering the community, geological hazard, you name it. She hands me a folder, thick with violations, tells me I've got 30 days to respond. Here's the thing, I don't even have a mailbox on the main road, never have. But they start piling up anyway. Every day new fines. $200 for no address marker, $250 for vegetation encroachment, $500 for unauthorized modification to natural landform. They even fined me for the generator 8 to 6, quiet hours my ass. Obstruction of community access to the cove. Yeah, that protected marine sanctuary where seals have been breeding longer than California's had property law. End of the week, they tally it up over $4,000 in fines and a threat of legal action. That's when I decided I wasn't playing their game. Drove to the county recorder's office in Fort Bragg Place, smells like old toner and bad air conditioning. Pulled every document I could find. My federal auction deed clear as day. Outside their jurisdiction. Their HOA boundaries 4 miles east. Subdivision, plat my property, not even listed. And then surprise, an amended boundary resolution from 2021, forged signatures included. Two of the board members they claimed signed that thing. One had moved out of state, the other was dead. Someone wanted my cliff so bad they faked an entire expansion of the HOA, then tried to use county power to push me out. That wasn't HOA overreach, that was coordinated fraud. And fraud, well, I spent a career learning how to document that sort of thing. By the next morning, my kitchen looked like a war room. 4 sets of documents cross-referenced, color-coded every trick I learned in 30 years of field work. It was all there. Original HOA boundaries. No mention of my land. The phony amendment county plat showing my property as a separate parcel, and Coastal Commission records marking my cove as a marine sanctuary. No permits, no approval, nothing but a forged paper trail. Turns out the emergency condemnation they wanted was based on a geological assessment contradicting my own federal survey, one I wrote, mind you. They even faked a marine impact report claiming no significant wildlife value. All this to bulldoze my home and build a luxury resort helipad marina, the works plans filed months before they ever knocked on my door. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone forges a dead man's signature and fabricates federal documents to steal your home, you don't just roll over. You get to work. I called Lana Strand at USGS, old friend sharp as ever. Sent her every document I had asked for a compliance review. Then I limped my way down to the sheriff's substation folder, thick enough to stop a bullet, and told Deputy Thatcher Boone the whole story. He listened, asked questions, took notes, told me civil court is usually where these fights go, but forgery and wire fraud, that's federal. He advised document everything, cameras, GPS, the works. Sure enough, next morning, construction crew rolls up Hartley Development Group. I caught them before they could board up the staircase. Showed them the camera, explained the whole federal marine sanctuary thing, watched them turn pale and beat a hasty retreat. I even got a dropped work order signed by Delene herself. More evidence. Lana called. USGS was launching a full compliance review, federal freeze on all permits. Coastal Commission notified, no AA field team sent to count the seals. But here's where things got interesting, a twist I never saw coming. Ule Dufresne, treasurer of the HOA, called me out of nowhere. Asked me to meet her at a coffee shop in Fort Bragg. She slid a manila folder across the table, financials, bank statements, proof that Delane had been embezzling over $300,000 from the HOA, funneling it through fake vendors and her husband's development company. I signed the amendment, she whispered, but I didn't know. Delane told me it was routine. She forged my dead father's name. The man whose signature anchored the whole scam, Ule's father. She wanted to testify. She wanted to make it right. We brought it all to FBI Special Agent Rebecca Thornwood. Conference room whiteboard. Every name and connection mapped out. Delane, Prescott, Raymond, the contractors, the surveyor. Thornwood asked why I hadn't pulled my federal credentials sooner. I wanted to see how far they'd go, I told her. Let them commit to their lies before I revealed what I knew. County board meeting came quick. Delane swept in, regal as ever, ready to finalize my condemnation. Only the room was packed with more than just HOA loyalists. Deputy Boone at the door, Lana with her credentials, Ule clutching her confession, and Thornwood lurking in the corner. When Delane started handing out her forged evidence, I stood up limp and all and put the real documents on the table. USGS survey, NOAA wildlife counts, proof of forged signatures. Then Ule stood, voice shaking but clear, and told them how her father's name had been used after his death. The room exploded, board members yelling, residents demanding answers. Delane tried to flee only to meet Agent Thornwood's badge. This is a federal investigation. You are under arrest. The dominoes fell fast. Arrests, confessions, plea deals. Delane got 12 years, Prescott 10. Raymond 6, license revoked, company dissolved, HOA disbanded. Ule got probation for her testimony. Coastal Commission set new rules to stop this from ever happening again, and the cove below my cliff, now a marine heritage site plaque, and all named in memory of Marigold, the woman whose whale-watching notes had helped save it from bulldozers. I stood on that cliff the night the plaque went in, sunsetting over the Pacific seals, barking like they owned the place, Lana beside me. I wrote the last entry in Marigold's journal, Gray Whale Pair, northbound, 6:12 p.m. The third generation returned to the same waters their grandparents swam. I finally smiled. Took me 3 years, but I got there. Now here's where I throw it back to you. If someone tried to steal your home with lies and paperwork, what would you do? Fight, fold, or burn their whole scheme down with the truth? Drop it in the comments. Because stories like this, they're not just about cliffs and HOAs. They're about refusing to surrender, about honoring the people who taught us to stand our ground. If this story hit you anywhere close to home, leave a heart in the comments so I know you're still with me. And hey, if you've ever stared down a bully, be it HOA County, or anyone who thought their power was absolute, share your story. You're not alone. None of us are. Funny thing, once the HOA dissolved, folks actually started talking to each other again. No more fines, no more threats. Just neighbors, fences, and common decency. Yuli started helping others at the recorder's office, making sure no one else got caught up in forged paperwork. Deputy Boone got a plaque for his trouble. Lana still visits twice a year, says the seals remember her. As for me, I still record. The tides still watch the whales, still live in my liability. Only now it's protected forever, just like Marigold wanted. The ocean, it's still out there, patient and eternal, outlasting every scheme. And some of us, the stubborn ones, the quiet ones, the ones who know how to read stone and water, we're still here protecting what matters. If you stuck around this long, thank you. Stories like this remind us the law can work if we refuse to surrender. If you got your own tale of standing up to the system, drop it in the comments. Hit like, subscribe if you want more. And remember, sometimes the quiet fight is the one that leaves the deepest mark.